What's good? My name is Jonathan Miller, and today I'm going to be teaching you in this segment about this binder here. So when you have your binder 3 inches, and when you open, you ain't supposed to have no papers in the front. You ain't supposed to have no papers because it makes you unorganized when you're trying to find the paper and you can't find it. You got your tabs and small clip. For me, I have photojournalism, I got my English, my government, economics, A.V.I.D, psychology, sociology on it. And with your binder, you can be creative like you want, baby. I got a picture of me and my daddy here. Alright, so for every class you have a notebook. With that notebook, you have it in your divider so you know where it is at all times so you don't lose your notebook. You actually make sure you have extra paper, as you can see right here, and you make sure that you ain't got nothing in these pockets. You gotta make sure that you don't want to be unorganized. These right here, these are just in case you lose your tabs, because you always gotta stay organized. You don't ever want to get lost, right? Next, your planner. Another really important step on how to stay organized. Now what you want to do is every class period, every time you have an assignment, a test coming up, you flip through here to the right grade and you put your grade in there, or you put your class that you have in a test or whatever. So in this class we was having a PowerPoint presentation and a notebook check. After we had that notebook check and I get 100, I check it off real quick. Very useful things in this planner. As you can see here, we got our school calendar. Very useful. What you can do is you can go flip through here and you flip through there and you can mark out all of the dates that you need, dates that you're gonna be absent. If you have an appointment, make sure you tell your teachers all that stuff you make. You want to make sure you're on top of your school all the time. Another thing that you must have, trust the old pouch. Here in the pouch you got pens and you got pencils. Make sure that you keep them in there so that you ain't never not prepared. You can make sure also in here you can have erasers, markers, color pencils, crayons, whatever you decide you want to use. Highlighters, make sure you have those too. And that's about it.
Homework folders are really useful for when you have homework that maybe is not due the next day. You keep it in here so you don't have to look for it here. You keep it in this folder so whenever it is due, you don't have to go through your backpack or your binder to look for it. You have it right here in your handy dandy homework folder. Okay. Right here, A.V.I.D notebook. In your A.V.I.D notebook, you write notes, usually on guest speakers, maybe on whatever your teacher is teaching that day or talking about that day. Also right here, we have a set of Cornell notes. You got the essential questions on the side, and the notes in the middle, in the large part. A.V.I.D notebook is really useful for not only A.V.I.D, but for all of your classes, because when you take Cornell notes in your A.V.I.D notebook, you can use it for that class that you take. That's for success. We have it every month. Is when you dress up professionally for you to be ready for, let's say, a job interview or a college interview. So when it's time for you to go to those interviews, you don't show up aloof. It's really important you know how to dress for success, because when you get a job or you go to college or an interview, you don't want to dress all raggedy. You want to know how to dress professionally so people look at you professionally. First, let's talk about your hair. Your hair, you have to make sure it's done. You have to make sure it's all nice and pretty and it's not all over the place. Next, let's talk about the shirts. You want to wear a nice button-up collar shirt first so you can put a tie on. Ties are really important. Usually doesn't matter if you wear a regular tie or a bow tie. Your slacks. You want to wear a belt with your slacks. First, your belt, you want to make sure it lines up with the button on your shirt and with your fly. Also, your socks. You don't want to wear white socks. You want to wear black or brown. Your shoes, You make sure you wear nice dress shoes. Make sure you look professional as you can.
Alright, so now we're going to be talking about TRFs. So what a TRF is, it's first a sheet of paper, a tutorial request form. So what you do is you write your essential question on what you have a question on. You have 2 vocabulary words about your question, and then you have stuff that 2 things that you already know. Then from there you show the steps that you already know how to do in your process, and then you put that into words. Steps, words. Then under that, you have your point of confusion, which is where you can't proceed with those steps anymore. So what you do is you go up to the board and you write your point of confusion. You write that on the board and make sure it's clear so everybody knows what you're talking about. You bring your resources, which are your notes. And then when you have those, you write your vocabulary on the board, and then you write what you know on the board. From there, your classmates will ask you questions, and when they ask you questions, they will try to get you closer to your point of confusion. They won't tell you the answer, because that's what a whole tutorial is for. It's so you can understand your whole subject on your own.
Cornell notes. On Cornell note sheet paper, first you write your essential question. A question about what the lesson is about. Then you write questions on the side. Questions to the teacher, to the instructor, questions about the lesson. Then you write notes about the lesson. Your point of confusion, you write key points, key terms, and vocabulary. Then on the bottom, you write a summary about what you wrote and what the lesson was about.
Alright, bro, so after that, what they got to do to their Cornell notes when they go home?
After, when you go home, when you study your Cornell notes, you have to highlight, chunk, and edit your notes. So you understand that some points are more important than others on your notes. So you know what is more important to study and what is better for you to retain when you study.
So what I'm going to tell y'all is how I was coming into high school as a freshman. So, of course, I was in A.V.I.D in middle school, so in high school I decided, keep on going with A.V.I.D. And middle school, it taught me how to do Cornell notes and TRFs and all that stuff. But when you get to high school is when you're really going to want to use them, because you realize that Cornell note taking and chunking and editing and highlighting and all that stuff when you're studying for a test, that's really important. And TRFs are also really important because your classmates take the same classes as you. Because in A.V.I.D class, most of them already take advanced classes anyway. So you have multiple brains in that classroom where you can ask for help from all your students and all your friends in the class. And just because you got friends in the class doesn't mean you have to stick with that group. You have to make sure that you connected with all your brothers in the classroom. Because by the time you get to where we are and we're seniors, we utilize our brothers all the time.
When I was a freshman in A.V.I.D, I was kind of new to it because I only spent 1 year before freshman year in A.V.I.D, but I was still kind of getting the gist of all the tutorials and Cornell notes. But through the years, A.V.I.D has taught me that Cornell notes are more important than just regular notes. It helps you more, especially if you do exactly what is expected of you in the Cornell notes, chunking and highlighting and all that stuff. Helps you out even more than regular notes. TRFs, they help you out because, your classmates are there with you, and, sometimes they got the same problems that you do, So, and other times, if they got the same problem, maybe they know something that you don't, so they can help you out as well.